All right. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Good day, my blessed ones. Well, I've been up getting some R&R in the mountains. And I'm the Smoky Mountains, where the Appalachian Trail begins and ends up in Maine, 2,200 miles. And I thought how interesting when I was up there. I think you guys will get off on this one. Of course, you know, I've mentioned before, this is an international biosphere. And if I hadn't been in the patriot community where we deal with more constitutional type issues, I would not have known that President Clinton, if I could use that word, I just hate to use the word president because it just, these guys are just real narcissistic elitists. They don't care about people. But gave all our national forests and parks to the United Nations. Now, if you're American, how do you feel that your president gave all our national parks to the UN, who doesn't even know what's ass from a hole in the ground? I don't know how that's possible. If it is possible constitutionally, I don't even know. And then, of course, recently it was discovered he gave about an eighth of our uranium mines ended up into Russia. I don't know. You know, these are bad times. This one world order concept can never be achieved through financial means. You can't, and the World Bank is demonstrating that of all these countries that have borrowed from the World Bank are now going down. And it just demonstrates that'll never be able to take place or happen. You have to do that under the spiritual orifice, where you have a higher level of awareness overseeing the mind. You can't allow the mind to control, and this is what these people are doing, is allowing their minds to control. Therefore, those of a lower class are insignificant. And people, the populace is insignificant. It goes back to the kings and days where kings ruled and overtaxed the people until the people stood up and overthrew the kings. It's a cycle that's been going on for time immemorial here, but I think the vitalness of all of you beautiful souls out there is to infuse the love and the higher awareness. It's oftentimes hard for me, and sometimes you see me going off sometimes, and I try to detach myself a lot, but when you see what's coming in here, it sometimes is unsettling, to say the least, to keep yourself detached from it all and keep telling yourself this is creation. And creation is just the way it is. It's all karma-driven, all cause and effect driven. Therefore, you can't control that other than how you create in your own world. And of course, the ultimate goal is to become the conscious dreamer. And the more that you understand that, you gain control of your worlds and of the mind itself. And a lot of you are working on that, doing incredibly well. And this brings a joy and a peace and a beauty and a security beyond what you can comprehend, beyond the body, so to speak. And it is all found in the present moment. Beautiful. Hilde, they told you your wounds wouldn't heal because you had low protein in the blood. How interesting. This is the arrogance and ignorance of the AMA, because proteins do not promote healing, they actually bar the body from it. The more acidic you are, the less you heal. And your wounds here, I don't know if you want me to show these, but I won't, but beautiful job. In 2 weeks, you look incredible. I mean, it's just incredible. Should I show it? You want me to show them, Hilde? I mean, a very slow wound healing. I'm going to show it. I don't think you would mind. If you do, I apologize deeply. 2 weeks from here to here. 2 weeks. Now, had Hilde been in another position where she hadn't been so acidic for all these years, that would have probably been twice as healed. That's how cool this level of healing is. It is so cool. And the more hydrated and base balanced your body is, the more rapid the healing. And we were talking in past videos about fruitarianism and how rapid healing it is. Arnold Ehret gave testimony to that. I've given testimony to that. And I think many of you who are at these levels can give testimony to how fast the body can heal and how bleeding doesn't happen in these higher levels, how pain doesn't happen in these higher levels. It's just friggin' amazing. And then when you start to look at this in the world of chemistry, you start seeing that, of course, pain and all this is always on the acid side. You know, it's just acid, acid, acid. Here's a good example. Up in the mountains and staying in a cabin, the first 6 channels of TV up in the Smoky Mountains, like in Gatlinburg and stuff, is basically about Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and that level. All these rides and Ripley's, believe it or not, the museums and aquariums and all the stuff they have there. And they had this one channel where it was the history of the Smokies and the Appalachian Trail. And I couldn't believe it. This man was talking about how the UN, in his own way, is basically, he was saying, owns it, which is, I don't see how. But he was saying that at one time, the air became so acidic, and he specifically named nitrogen, which is, remember, the protein side, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide. So we were trying to Google to find out what the pHs were, because this forestry man said it is 100 times more acidic than normal acid rain. And that the air became so acidic because of power plants, number one, that's sulfur dioxide, and then your cars and all this other, that it was eroding the upper part of the mountains, and that the lakes and the streams were getting so acidic that it was mutating the fish, and that trout couldn't live in acid waters. Well, very few things can. And if you tie that to the time I was telling you National Geographic was walking the Appalachian Trail, interviewing people and things, and they came across these park rangers testing a lake. And they were asking the park rangers, what are you testing? And they said, look at that six-legged frog down there. So the National Geographic cameras were focused on the frog. And they said, well, what's going on here? Acid rain. So going back, they're saying that this air is 100 times more acidic than normal acid or normal rain. Well, rain is already acidic, because it is distilled water per se. Depends on what's in the air, of course, and now you got all types of chemicals and stuff. So all rain is probably some degree acidic. I'm going to stick myself out there, and I might be wrong. You guys can look it up, find out if you want, but I'm going to say rain normally is probably no more acidic than 6. Maybe in the upper 5s. I don't know. I'm just saying that. You're looking at logarithms, which is how your pHs are dealt, 10 by 10 by 10. Going 100 times hotter than that puts it right down about 2.5 to 3 pH, which is the same acid level that your cells are producing as waste and byproducts. So he also mentioned something about battery acid. So it was very interesting to me how that is. And he said now that the EPA and things are correcting a lot of this, that the air is not so acidic, it's better. So get this. So I'm up there with my 2 sons and their wives. So my one daughter-in-law, she's down in Gatlinburg, which is, I would say, still up in the mountains, but pretty far down, a couple thousand feet. And she's looking at the stream. There's ducks in the stream flowing through Gatlinburg and everything, and she sticks her toes in the water. And her toenail polish started coming off. Well, you ladies use acetone or acetate to remove fingernail polish, right? Acetone, acetate. So it is vital that if the medical doctors want to live in their pseudo lives and their pseudo concepts, have at it. But it is vital that you all educate yourselves and those around you to acids and what's going on here. Car exhausts are not alkalis. Most chemistry does not break down into alkalis. They break down into acids. Acids are the final breakdown or end product of most metabolitic and most chemical reactions and interactions. You look at the Krebs cycle. Ascorbic acid is simply an acid relieved at a certain level, but it's still an acid. This is why these vitamin C treatments, intravenous vitamin C treatments, is causing hardening of the arteries, because it's an acid leaching calcium out of the artery walls. You cannot mess with acids in the blood, or you screw yourself up bad. This is why you have a lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system is a system that deals with acids. Even the lymphologists agree that at least blood proteins are dealt with through the lymph system. But go back to cell waste. 100 trillion cells comprise the human body, and each one produces waste. So you just have to look at that and understand we're in a very acid time. And the more acidic one becomes, the more to hellville you go. And you can't use acids to regenerate yourself, and this is a message to all you naturopaths. You naturopaths out there, get your heads on. Marcy's going to naturopathic school, and one of the comments they made is genetics plays no role in man's health. An idiot knows better than that. So I don't know what to say. I'm going to say that as you grow and learn and educate yourself, you guys are going to be the cream of the crop in healers. And you're already demonstrating that by how many people you're helping. So from that, bottom of my heart, and a lot of other hearts out there. I want to read this because, and this is from Pat Worley. 3 hours and 11 minutes is way too long to cover this material. I suggest you read over the questions ahead of time and make some notes in order to shorten your videos. Well, one of the problems, Pat, honey, is I just don't have a lot of time right now and haven't had. I'm busier than my physical body can move. And it becomes extremely frustrating to me that I can't move my lower bodies fast enough to my consciousness and what I need to accomplish and do. We're putting a lot of things together. I'm working on new formulas for you, and I've got a new herbal gum and tooth powder coming out that's all herbal. These people are using, they claim herbal, and they're not using 100% herbal, so I love 100% herbal. I've also got a black salve, a drawing salve that I'm trying to perfect. Got a lot of things I'm working on. I've got the baby infant formula that's just about done. I've been playing with that vigorously, so a lot of things going on here. And then we just have a lot of serious, let me keep going, serious cases. And it's devastating. It's emotionally devastating. So to learn to be detached, I'm working on it. So just have to understand that, you know, it does try your spirituality when you see what's going on here, but it's all cause and effect. I never read over these questions that you have to me. I don't have the time. I just don't have the time to sit there and pre-read and categorize and things like that. So I deeply apologize for that to you guys. It would be better. But on the other hand, I'm doing my best to give this to you, and sweetheart, you're lucky you got it. That's all I got to tell you. You're lucky this information is out there and available to you. So with that, you know, I don't know what to say about that. I'm doing my best with that. I had to get this out before I left to the mountains, so we didn't really have much time. We wanted to get that information up because a lot of people are suffering. And by now, you have to understand that the mind is very rhythmic. The mind is very conditioned. It works in conditioned states. It's a totally conditioned instrument. It works by conditioning. You can train the mind. You can. Our educational systems train the mind, feed the mind, all of that sort of thing. And the mind, once it gets its cycles, they say after 5 years old, your cycles are set. But we've talked about this before, why music changes the way it does and how that affects the mind and how it breaks up thought patterns. But you're supposed to understand that and refill those thought patterns with higher levels of awareness and stuff. So there's a lot. Maybe we'll discuss the mind sometime in more detail of how the mind is separate than you are. That you are not your mind. You're only using the mind as an instrument of experience and creation. And once you realize that and get a hold of the mind, then you're the master. You're not the leaf blowing in the wind. So it's something we're going to work on and make these more interesting. But there's an old saying: you have to tell them, then you have to tell them what you told them, and then you have to tell them again. And that is many years as I've been having my school and training people, and I've been training people for all my life, both in spirituality and in health. And all I can say is that as simple as this is, a lot of people still don't get it. And I've worked vigorously to try to simplify the understanding of chemistry and physics and how that applies directly to your suffering. So it's just one of those things. Now, it seems you like to speak in localisms, but you repeat the same things over and over again. Good. And if you get that, Pat, then you can go out and heal people and be a great healer. If you don't get it, you're another one of those trapped in your mind and you're using ego to write this. And I don't know what to say about it. You know, you're lost in your own ego if that's the case. But if you get it, perfect, because there's nothing new. all I can say is about the cases, and I've said this before, once you understand the two sides of chemistry and your lymphatic system, and you understand detoxification and why detoxification, the golden key to well-being, and how you regenerate tissue, then it's merely just application. Then we're working from practitioner to practitioner, helping you to help others come through these, because different cases require different things. And if you listen, there's different cases, we use different things on them. Mostly we're always after the lymph system, always. That's a standard thing. So if you get that, that's perfect. I'm happy about that. But there's nothing new under the sun. That's why it can be boring. It can be. I try to kick it up a little bit, and we will be trying to do some of that. I could bring in foods and play with foods in front of you. Fruitarian, I could juice like Dan, I could do all kinds of things like Danny, but I'm a practitioner and I'm heavy in it, and have been all my life. So I don't have the time. That's why there's the Dan McDonald's and the good souls out there that are teaching raw foods and things like that. I am into genetics, I'm into rebuilding tissue, I'm into the deeper levels of this. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to bring you all to these levels with me. So I don't know, Pat. Your very sick customers will be dead at the funeral home before your video is half over. And that was a very ego statement of yourself, sweetheart. So I don't know what to say. Do you have had a bad day? So I mean, that's only hurting yourself, because that was a statement uncalled for. But you see people, there's people like Pat out there, and that they don't realize when they use their egos, you know, how that is. And that's why we have to gain control of our minds and our egos, because we're making a fool of ourselves. You don't hurt me by saying that, because we help everybody, and we tell you on every video, please don't wait till I answer your questions. If you're serious, please call us. You didn't hear that one, I guess. But that's what we tell you. If you're in trouble, well, you pick up the friggin' phone and you get here. Or you try in some way, because we'll help everyone we can. And there's plenty of you beautiful YouTubers out there who are helping us help others too. My ultimate goal has never changed. I want as many of you to be healers as I possibly can get out there. It is essential that we speak with one voice. Essential. So Pat, you either get on or get off the stick. Now, little update on Chad. Some of you know Chad and what's going on with Chad. This is the young man that they're forcing into chemo. So father went into court the other day, loaded up with information, and he wanted to state his case. And this is what I'm saying, unless you're privy to this, if I say judges are corrupt, you might go, oh my God. But I'm telling you, I haven't met too many honest judges. This judge wouldn't even hear him, took his rights away as a father, and told the medical profession to give him to do it. And what the medical profession has already said to the family is this a bolus. This is a power hit to the baby. He's a baby, he's only 5, 6 years old. And they admitted that most children don't survive this, but if he does, it's good. And this friggin' stupid, ignorant judge who should go to jail or be bolused himself, no offense, but this is what takes me out of this. He didn't even have time to appeal the judge's decision. You have a right to appeal a judge's decision, because these are lower court judges or magistrates that have their head so far up their ass, they're doing it. It's just unbelievable. I've been in front of several magistrates. These guys are unreal. These guys are unreal. So, when, I won't say if, because I'm telling you, if this young man survives, it's only because of the father. And the father now has been withdrawn from the issue. So the mother's allowing her baby to be killed. So the father's lining up his ducks. He's going to make a movie, which is great. And I know some of you are in contact with him and stuff. And it's sick. It's sickening. Especially when these mad scientists who have no understanding of health or wellness or the human body is playing this Frankenstein crap on our children. We're going to have to stand up by the millions and shut this down, because it's out of control. Out of control. They've already tried to help him, and all they did was blow his eye, did all kinds of things, proving that they can't help him whatsoever. And there's other modalities. A direct violation of antitrust laws, a direct violation of everything we know as humans. And if you don't think we're in a cage being experimented on pharmaceutical companies, I don't know what to tell you. It's like the FDA is just fostering the use of deadly weapons, meaning toxic chemicals, on humans. So that you have to wake up to these things. Very serious this planet is at. That's why God has sent all the spiritual beings to this planet, why a lot of these new babies are very spiritually aware beings. And we're setting them up, we're setting their bodies up. So we're here to get these bodies healthy enough so these spiritual beings can at least bring the consciousness of love and higher awareness to this planet. Because the cycles have to come up just a little bit. Sick stuff. Sometimes I hate to go off it, just sick stuff. So Pat, you're playing with this kind of crap and kind of information like this, saying this kind of crap, and there's so much out there, so much trouble out there, honey, that you got to get with that. A lot of serious trouble. And it's only you guys that know how to heal people. The rest of the world, if you hadn't noticed, look at other nature-based stuff. Most people have no clue. I'm training you at the highest order we know spiritually and physically on this planet. And I brought in information as much as I could for you, and I don't know what to say. Some of you guys are really doing some good healing out there, and I'm really proud of each and every one of you for doing that. Because without you guys, we can't do it. We need to develop a power, and when we start this association, which has to be a world planet association, to where all those that want to change the planet can join this, where we have proactiveness. Most associations die or are sitting over there on the side and become money hounds. We need to be proactive and change the consciousness, because it's Slaughter City. Now, again, cause and effect, and you got to understand all that. It's hard. It's hard sometimes to understand that all you're watching is karma. Hard to do that. But we can change that, and we can change these souls. Because like the Clintons and all these people, they're going to be locked. Reincarnation for a lot of lifetimes, and they're going to go through pure hell. And if we can help those souls and protect them from becoming narcissistic elitists, they will save themselves a lot of journeys too. This isn't, I'm not just those souls need to pay. No, we all need to uplift our awareness, because this is just so bad. And you just don't see it in other forms of life. The Homo sapien consciousness is bizarre, to say the least. Oh, and I want to make a comment on this, because this is pretty interesting, and I'll tell you, my friend. This guy is, I don't know, Max D Pro. Max, my God, what are you doing, man? This guy is now on, what is this? Unbelievable. He is now off his 80th day on a grape fast, and he is now finishing his 5-day dry fast, which I'll be honest with you, I've only dry fasted a few days in my life, to tell you the honest truth. I'm not so sure, when we're looking at the toxicity level of people, I don't know where I stand with dry fasting, and going too deep. So I want you, Max, I want you to look at your eyes for a minute and see how much lymphatic issues you have, and if you have any sulfur, because if you get too deep, you might have to stay there a while, because you're really digging in. You are really digging in. I'd be curious to see your eyes, to tell you the truth. He's going to start another 28 days, making 108 days of grape fast, combined with a dry fast. His weight is 117. Man, well, you'll put that back on, Max. But the thing is, you don't have to go to those bizarre links unless you're really suffering, or you've got tumors, and you've got a real dehydrated state, or you got RA, or any of the fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme type syndrome, which is just extreme systemic acidosis. You want to have some balance to your life. So come off of this real slow, my friend. Come off of this real slow. Add more fruit in there, get more fruit going, and then add some green drinks, and then into your vegetable salads. But I'm curious to how more you do. This is amazing that he's doing this. Now, he's not starving. He's on grapes. And that's not really a fast. We call it a grape fast because man doesn't understand that eating grapes is a diet. But it's a grape diet. And grapes are probably the most powerful in terms of chemistry, especially your darker ones. Chemistry, flavonoids, energy, electromagnetic energy. So he's not starving by any stretch of the imagination. But he's bringing in a chemistry into his body that's incredible. And so this is, a matter of fact, I'm amazed. This is a time, Max, where you might find if you get cut, check that out for pain and bleeding and how rapid you heal. Because you're getting up in there to areas of, unless your lymph is real bad, you're getting up into levels where your body gets so hydrated that pain is just not there. Like I say, wounds are super healed. And Hilde is showing you, even in her state and her moving back, how rapid she's healing. It's it's there. And these guys just don't get it. They think proteins are involved in healing, and that's not true at all. They can bar your healing. In fact, Eric proved this, and I proved this, and some of the greats have proved this, is that the more protein you consume, the less you heal, the more inflammation you see, the more pain you have, and the more bleeding you have. To where you get so acidic, you just can't stop bleeding. This is all about acidosis and what those acids do to tissues in your body. And you could get into pancreatic tissue, parathyroid tissue, doesn't matter. It's all of them because it's a systemic problem. And so I commend you, Max. Come off of this and balance yourself out for a little while and see how you do, and then go into maybe another short one or whatever. If you've got tumors, if you've been diagnosed by the medical doctors with the word cancer, that means you're highly acidic. You've been acidic for a lot of years, and now you're having intracellular acidosis, meaning that cells can no longer poop outside. Extreme cellular constipation would be a good word for that one. Is that a localism? Or is it just simplicity? I don't know. Anyway, it's enough to say, though, cellular constipation is a big deal, and no one talks about that. It talks about cells and the need to remove waste from cells. Again, you see it in research paper once in a while, but not a lot. And you've got to understand that's as vital of an issue as nutrition, is the removal of waste and byproducts. Just as vital of an issue. Matter of fact, you have to ask yourself, why would the lymph system be 3 to 4 times bigger than the blood? And I think once all the lymphatic systems are found, we might even see a larger percentage difference between the blood and the lymphatic system. Whoa, wait a minute. Which becomes more important then? Immunity and the removal of waste, or nutrition? So I'm just throwing that out there. Why did God see the need to make the lymph system so huge over the blood system? I mean, it's just food for thought. It's Thursday, please. Okay, wait a minute. Just this, Rob. Oh, okay, just this one thing. Can I also ask you one more question? I am curious about Dr. Morse's thinks about THC and MMS. Well, I don't think much about MMS. THC, I don't know. Excuse me. It seems like when you get a fairly high level of THC in your hemp oils, that it's definitely effective. I don't know what to say about these. These are definitely, I think, acids that can be a little detrimental. I think that things are here to use. Now, not MMS, but I think that, like THC, things are, if we're talking about the same THC, I mean, there's a lot of initials for a lot of things, but I think that it's like one time I did mushrooms, and I did do a little window pane, which is LSD. I didn't do much, but I did a little when I was about 20 years old, 21 years old, but I was into meditation, and it just brought the answer of the universe down on me because it quieted my mind to almost nothing, and I just was total in the moment, extreme so. And all the answer starts flooding in. You start seeing how things are made and done, and I don't know how to describe it. But I think that's there to be able to touch on the fact that you can do this all naturally. That simply learning to become the observer by stepping back from thought and living in that present moment, that you can achieve the same thing without being so hard on the body, because these are acids. And again, acids can have very detrimental effects on all things, including brain and nerve tissue. So I don't know what to say about that. But MMS, If I know what that we're talking about, it's a sulfur compound. I'm not into that at all, at all. So I don't know. This question, the subject, Charcot Marie Tooth. This is Doreen. Let's see, Dr. Morse. First, I have to tell you, I freaking love everything about it. Oh, thanks, honey. Appreciate that. I'm just trying. I'm just trying to bring us all together. We need to become one. We need to become all together. You know, we need to become all friends. We don't need to chastise each other. We just need to all become one and work together and infusing this world with some higher level of awareness because it's just, it's sometimes hard to take, especially as you develop yourself and you're used to realms that are so incredibly incredible. I don't know what to say. Some of the higher heavens are just, there's no words for them. It's just so expansive. And then to have to deal with these lower states sometimes is beyond frustrating. I try not to let it take me off my center, but my God, thank you, honey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I deeply love you, too. Thank you so much. Here's my brother-in-law and his Charcot Marie Tooth. As he has gotten older, its crippling effects have gotten worse. He has the most difficulties in walking. He cannot walk flat-footed as the muscles in his legs won't let him. Wow. Now think about that for a minute. When you stiffen up, what side of chemistry are you on? Well, of course you're on the acid side of chemistry. You can feel that in your neck and everything else. Well, take this deeper into the body, into the muscles and the tendons and things like this. And then add the fact that acids remove calcium out of these structures to bring about an ionization, a neutralization of this acidosis. Well, then that creates spasticity and further tightening and locking. You can get the locked fingers. I mean, there's everything under the sun fits under this category. It's simply location, and degree of acidosis. He cannot walk flat-footed as the muscle in his legs won't let him. He walks on his tip. Poor guy. Well, he's got to get a 100% raw food diet. That's number one right off. You know, you look at, Hilde, you look at a lot of these beautiful souls that are turning their world around from a body that was extreme acidosis, where their calciums have been ripped from them. They've had extreme mutation of joints and fingers turning in. I mean, this is extreme acidosis, and these beautiful souls are working themselves out of these states. My blessing and love to each and every one of you that are doing it. You know, sometimes you can't just get things done like that, but you guys are doing it, and it's better to be moving toward Wellville than living constantly in Hellville. At least you're moving toward Wellville, and this is what your brother-in-law has to do, is go raw. Because you've got to bring alkalization into the body. You need to get more alkalized base balanced to bring about a relief of that extreme anionic pressure that's happening there. And it's just that what happens. It's why people go into the fetal position. It's why you see scoliosis. It's why you see all these things like this. But maybe I should make these videos shorter and just cut them off on some of these. And so I don't know. I don't know what to do about these. Anyway, he has to wear shoes all the time as he has really bad balance. Oh my God. My sister-in-law actually has put his shoes on for him because he is unable to. About 6 months ago, he fell down a flight of stairs after losing his balance. Oh, poor lad. I don't know how he survived that fall, but he came away with a dislocated shoulder and some cuts and bruises. His doctor says he should be in a wheelchair, but he refuses. Well, for me, I'm going to go into upper circumbrain and nerve. I'm going to address the neurological issue that way, but I'm going to address the autonomic more, which is through the adrenals and kidneys, because that's your lymph system, that's your acidosis. So you're always going to go to the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands have your neurotransmitters for the autonomic nervous system. That's your worker bee that makes you walk, move, talk, breathe, everything. And then you got your steroids for mineral utilization, your sugar metabolisms, your gonadal steroids like estrogen, testosterone, and aldosterones. You got all those in these two big little glands. Two big little glands. And they're big little because they do so much considering how little they are. But the size of a walnut on top of each kidney. vital stuff. And so when you see things like this, when you see the body cramping up or hardening or muscles and tendons locking and things like this, you know you're under the acid sky and you need to change that sky. Now, if he's losing balance not from that, but from a sense of balance and equilibrium, you know that's coming from the cerebellum. And what could be going on? Again, acidosis, inflammation. Use the word inflammation if you don't want to use the word acidosis. To me, they're synonymous. Cut through the chase. But in reality, acidosis creates inflammation, or the body's immune response to deal with that. That's all it is. When you look at the body, its need to survive, its need to be in well-being, to take care of you is vital. That's the essence of life. So it's going to take drastic measures to achieve that, even if it has to break down part of itself to deal with this. I gave that analogy of living up in Alaska when the snow comes and you can't get out your front door, and you're in a little cabin, and you burned all your wood. Where do you go? You start burning your furniture. And once that's all done, what do you burn? You start tearing down the walls. You start tearing down the structure. And that's just what you see the body do. He's one of those guys that made fun of my husband and I because we ate organic. Ooh, a little karma kickback, huh? That's what you see, and this is exactly a karma kickback. Those that make fun of us will be those that beg us in the future for our help. Or they'll go out of this world suffering badly. You don't need to do that. We don't need to do that as a race. We can lift this planet up to where karma is created in a much higher level, at least, to where, at least we don't keep killing each other. But I guess there has to be some form of population control. Oh, I don't know. There's sometimes I can't see things totally spiritually because maybe I'm blocking myself because, whew. Then one day he and his wife caught on and started eating organic. Pretty cool. I think that's real cool. Now this is what he needs to do. Go 100% raw and get those kidneys and adrenals. Get those kidneys filtering. Remember that? Get sediment in his urine. Open that doorway. Get on a 14-week herbal program because you're not going to do this with food alone anytime soon. You really want to get into that. So I'd get him on the 14-week program. I probably would add brain and nerve in there, at least brain and nerve number 2. I would add that in there. You could use lower and upper circulation formulas with that. So you would inspire better blood flow, and of course you're definitely going after the lymphatic system, which is the cause of this issue. So I would definitely get into there and go into those areas for him. He's a really hard-working guy. He still holds down a job even with his disability. Well, here's the problem. Remember we talked about this. It's obvious he's not filtering well from the kidneys, or hasn't been. So by creating more acids, he's actually accelerating his debility. And unfortunately, and I understand he's being strong and stuff, and maybe he has to, essentially financially. But he's doing himself a disfavor in the sense, until he starts filtering and gets it down a certain way, then he can pick up work. But working when you're not filtering exacerbates the acidosis, which exacerbates the symptoms, and it just takes you deeper into hellville. And it's not that exercise doesn't cure everything, because it doesn't. When you're not filtering, exercise can have a detrimental effect on you. There's a time and place for everything. You've heard that old saying, right? Sounds like a good man here. He's been married 32 years. Holy crap. That's a long time. And has a lovely daughter that he cares deeply for. So the message to the daughter is this. Look at my father and ask, in the context of your understanding or our understanding here, am I in line for this? What's going on with my kidney and adrenal glands? Because I'm in the genetic line of that. And I'm the downline. So that would be something for his daughter to think about, I think. Let me see. He's one of 6 boys and is the only one that lives near the parents. He drives 1 hour to their house every other week to check up on them. Sounds like a super nice dude. Recently, he posted on FB a video about Charcot Marie Tooth and added, it must have been 3 docs involved in that. It's like, blah, 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 blah. Just keep in mind, taking out the medical terminology for these things, because, again, they do the same thing that our illustrious corrupt judicial system does. They have their own nomenclature. They have their own dictionaries. So what one word means in one, in the Webster's dictionary, has a total different meaning in Black's Law dictionary. Frightening that that is done that way. But this is how these elitists have set themselves up differently. And there's no togetherness. There's no common thread. We're above. We serve you. I mean, all kinds of crap. And it's like we're all one. We're here just to help each other, to have a good time and enjoy the benefits of being in creation. Obviously, we have to deal with positive and negative and the movement of consciousness from its beginnings into its maturity. Because in the final analysis, you're going to find these two words, conscious dreamer. And that's what you're being developed for, is becoming more of the conscious dreamer. The more you and I and each one of us as individuals of God, individual pieces of God, become conscious dreamers. Can you imagine what it does to the main dreamer? Think about how God's expanding itself and how it has to train itself to expand itself. And you're very much into that growth and learning through all these hell veils that you're going through to learn how to become more the conscious dreamer, taking full responsibility for your actions and those that you create, because it can be real bad in your world if you don't, as you're seeing here. Anyway, and added he wished someone would discover a cure. And this is why you guys have to understand there is no cure at all, ever, for diseases. Don't let this vaccination bull crap, these are lies. Don't let there is no cure for diseases, period. And there never will be a cure for diseases. You have to understand this. This is simply man-made concepts by an allopathic community that wants to control your health one way or another. And so they have these names for symptoms of the human body. And they've set themselves apart from everybody else, calling themselves traditional and that we are in some way alternative. So let me see. So they created the universe and God is just an alternative factor. This is a sort of elitism that you see out there, and narcissistic for sure. And this is why you have to be careful with your education. Infuse your education with spirituality so you know not to let your mind dominate. You don't need to let the mind dominate while you're educating yourself. You can develop your mind and still be separate from it. You just can't pull yourself deep into the mental worlds or you get lost. And when you're lost, you become scared, alone. You'll do things that you normally wouldn't do. You create a lot of karma for yourselves. I mean, all kinds of things like that. So being awakened helps you to then choose your focus. And a lot of you are choosing in some incredible good ways. So there is never a cure, and you can tell him this for me, there's never a cure for any of these things, and there never will be. Keep sending in your donations, though. How you like that latest in the news on the cancer foundations? It's just all the corruptness feeding off itself. It's just a spiral of corruptness feeding off of itself. From one viewpoint, those are donating all the emotional, all this money. This guy's spending almost $200 million. Yeah, he's definitely in need of, he's going to be spending for a while. Too bad. But this is just the way this world is. But it's just all corrupt in that way. There's no such thing as cancer and all this sort of thing. These are just concepts. But its acids are very real, and they will take you out. And tumors can take you out, or you can have tumors in your body for a lifetime. Remember, most people are dying from the treatment of diseases that don't exist. You have to understand, all these names for symptoms are just medical doctors' names who think they discovered something, and they've got their name on it. That's narcissistic elitism. To the common person, even to those that understand chemistry and physics, we don't have to go there, because these are names for symptoms that all reflect chemistry and what happens to cells and fluids in a chemical nature. So chemistry and physics rules all actions and reactions, period, end of story. And cause and effect rules that whole movement of chemistry and physics. Has to. Duality has to exist, so there's opposites. If there's not opposites, it's only God. So you can see why, if there's only God, it has to have some playtime. It has to expand itself. So it's going to be infinite in its creative patterns and its creative frequencies and its creative levels. To not know that and assume that, our religious leaders are holding themselves back and the parishioners within those religions. It's time to open the door to consciousness and love and beauty and true God. But, so there is not a cure for diseases at all. Keep sending in your donations and someday there might be. Of course, that does bring up stock in the company whenever they release those things. You ever notice that? That was interesting. If you'll notice that a company will say, well, we're working on something and we won't have it for a few years, but there's real good promise. The donations come soaring in. And it's like, we have to educate the public on truth. And the truth is you live totally by science. Science rules all things, but not science necessarily that works with theories. We know enough about chemistry and we know enough about physics to understand how to be healthy. This thing about health is too complicated for the average person to understand, according to the medical world. But they don't understand anything about it. So this is the point. You guys know, are going to know more when we're done with these videos about the body and health. And you take it way beyond me. I'm 65 years old. I spent my life bringing this out. Now I want to focus spiritually, because it's just a matter of bringing people into Wellville. And the difficulty is your cases. Marcy's got a lot of hard cases right now. And some of them are just, I've told you about people that can't even drink water anymore because they're so acidic. We have serious, serious cases. And to play in these dreams and throwing spikes at each other and gossiping, backbiting, and saying crap like Pat was saying, you know, that's like child's play. Go play somewhere. We have more serious things to deal with here. And I don't know what to say about that. I don't have time to play with those people that are just playing these little mind games. I don't play mind games. As you notice, I don't play mind games at all. I'm not into that. So anyway, your brother-in-law needs to realize the reality of healing takes place through the orifice of chemistry and physics, and that leads you right into detoxification, which is a process that happens naturally. We just understand that and know how to promote that and increase that, and to help the body in these advanced stages of dehydration, acidosis, and mutation. So it's serious stuff out there. So serious, it's not even funny. Some of you are lucky you're not in these levels. It's a blessing. Fix yourselves now before you get into some of these levels, because we have serious children problems. And the governments are snatching your children and filling them full of poison. And the judges don't give a shit what you think. It's like they took that daddy's jurisdiction away from his own son. That judge needs to be disbarred. I don't know what to say about it. You might find the judge's name and inundate him with letters of how ignorant he is and how unlawful that is. That his father deserved the right to appeal that to a higher court, giving us time to put out more facts and more things about that. Oh no, they wanted to bolus this kid so bad they were chomping at it. That's evil. Evil. So lucky if this kid comes out of it. And if any, it's going to be because of his dad and the raw foods, but his dad can't get to him anymore as far as I know. I don't know. It's just... Okay. He has never spoken of his condition to me. I've known him for 35 years. Oh my God. And put this on social media to me was a cry for help. Will you tell him we'd be glad to help him out of this? Be glad to help him. When I started my cleanse, I thought it might help him, but I felt he'd shoot it down because he wasn't ready for the information. Then today comes that post and I feel compelled to help. This is the video he posted. I haven't looked at it, honey. I apologize. Patrick, I just don't have time to view these things. I'm so busy. It stretches me. That's why I'm inviting all you guys, thank you all you guys for helping us and helping others. We want the healing centers. You guys that are setting up healing centers, we're going to send you people. We need healing centers where we can monitor people's blood pressures, blood sugars, where we can help them through, because we have people on pharmaceuticals for years and years, and just bad stuff that we have to titrate and we have to work with, and what these pharmaceuticals have done to their tissues and their GI tracts, and it's a mess out there. We can do it. And we can do it with each other's help and holding hands together. Not chastising each other, but working together and understanding this. And I don't know what else to say about it. But I'm saying, sweetheart, give this, Doreen, give this to your brother-in-law. He can watch this part of this video and understand that he has only one way to go. There's no treatment. People die from their treatments. If you hadn't noticed, fatal events are a huge part of pharmaceuticals and getting more huge. So, like I said, when you look at, if you even said of a low estimate, 3% of most pharmaceuticals have fatal events to them, 3%, which is a low percentage in my opinion, and you got 3% of 500,000 people, which is, you got millions and millions and millions on pharmaceuticals. So even 3% of a million, how many is that? So that's how many people are dying just from one pharmaceutical alone. It's a sick thing that we have to have a modality that puts itself out there. You need us. We're the only people that can help you. We're going to kill a bunch of you doing it, but that's okay, because this is for your own good. I don't think so. I think it's time that this decay go away and change and adapt and understand that surgeries and ER work is the only level all of paths should be restricted to. And every ER should have a naturopath or a naturopath, not a naturopathic physician. I know he was switched to more organic foods and a healthier diet. What would you suggest? 100% raw is essential? And I would move from the veggies to the fruits, just like we talk about, and get into deep detoxification. That means you're into, remember, detoxification isn't just cleansing. It encompasses regeneration. Why? You cannot regenerate tissue in an acid medium. There's no pharmaceutical that can go in and relieve his acidosis, because most of them are acids to caboot. Most of them are suppressive to the glands. So it just exacerbates the problem, temporarily showing you a relief, only to make Hellville much more real as the future comes in your world. So it's up to you to protect yourselves, because we don't have any protection agency anymore. Child Services is not here to protect us. I mean, they do good in certain areas, but I'm very aware of Child Services here in Florida. My significant other for years was tied to that, and mental health clinics, and the abuse and things that are going on out there. Yes. But we need to change our prisons. We need to change all this into health retreats. Because you're going to lift your awareness up and burn off your karma doing this process. And so when you go to jail for anything, you should be on raw foods. We should take Clintons for what they've done, put them into jail right now. They need to go to jail and don't collect $200. And then infuse them with raw foods. Colonics will do. Give them about 100 of them. And and really start regenerating these souls and getting any reptilian type stuff out. And just get these souls back, because these are lost souls. When you start giving away property in a country to some misfit organization that has Russia and everybody, and allowing innocent women and children to be slaughtered around the world, don't call yourselves United Nations. That's, you know what I'm saying? We have to become one like they become one, but in a spiritual way, in a loving way. And I don't know if this planet is capable of that, but certainly just a little bit would help. So all I can say to you is get him on 100% raw. Get him on the 14-week, I would, on the 14-week program, or go through Marcy or Gen B and have them put him on his own. But pretty much if he goes with the 14-week protocol, pull him right out of this, and a raw food diet. Get up to the fruits, get his kidneys filtering, have him check his urine, get him proactive in his wellness, get him to understand acidosis, how the body works with nutrition turning into acids as the body metabolizes it, and that the lymph system is there to remove these acids, and the lymph system uses the eliminative organs of the integumentary system, the skin, and the urinary tract, the kidneys and bladder, to eliminate these acids. And if they're not eliminating them, you're not sweating, you're not filtering in the kidneys, where are these acids going? Medical doctors believe they go right back into the blood. Well, then what happens? Well, death. That's where lymphologists come in and believe that that's where the lymph system comes in and helps that. I understand they don't understand these lymphatic systems yet because they haven't seen them. So I can understand where that ignorance is, but sometimes you can't use science. Sometimes you have to use common sense. Because when you say, well, this is the 21st century, they know no, they don't know. There's new lymphatic systems being found. There's new body parts being found that was never found. What? I'm just saying. So, sweetheart, you got to get him on raw. You got him doing the same thing you're doing. It's the only way to get out of this hellville. He's got to hydrate himself interstitially, meaning he's got to get his lymph system moving and filtering through those kidneys. And the adrenal glands sit on top and play a major role. And, of course, there's your anti-inflammatory steroids right there to help him. He's probably running low in those. And he's got to let the muscles tend. He's got to let all this interstitial levels hydrate, and all this stiffness and tightness will start relaxing and relaxing. Same time, I'd be working on his nervous system a little bit. You can do that through the adrenals, but I'd also do it through brain and nerve number 2, the self. And just, clean them up. That's all you got to do. This is just another form of acidosis. Sorry, Pat, but another form of, localism. But you're talking to an old farmer boy, so I don't know what to say about that. This is from, this is a general inquiry. Hello, Dr. Morse. Thank you for the information. Oh, thank you. Very welcome. Happy to help you because we need to help each other. We need to change things a little bit out there. If you haven't noticed, it's very, very serious. And when you go to naturopathic school and they don't think genetics plays a role in anything, in a man's health issues, ouch. Ouch. I have a question and a project I would like to talk to you about. Could you please email me so I can send you more information? Okay. Jennifer, I am contemplating writing a book about a subject matter which is very close to Dr. Morse's expertise and wanted to know if he wanted to be portrayed in it. The membership is irrelevant. Thanks, AG. No, I love to be mentioned in them. It just helps, our reputation, of course, and then just kind of helps to unite us as one. But we love to be mentioned, of course, anybody would. But yeah, I mean, I want you all to write your books. I love books. And of course, now books are kind of getting old-fashioned, I guess. But no, please, let me help you write your books. I'll be glad to write forwards or anything you want. I know we've written children's books. A lot of you have written children's books. I've written forwards for and everything like that. And let's inundate the market with raw and the power of healing. If we all write books that are saying the same thing, we're working on the same page. When we get too separated, then that's when they get us. Divide and conquer. We have to become one and strong because it's time for us to conquer. That's why we're all here. And it's not just all you see. There's beings in this room right now. There's beings at all levels. And we're here to help. And it's essential. So, we're working together. I love you all for that. I want to know what you think about the Diatomaceous Earth stuff. I don't. I know. It kills all bugs, but so does nice herbs and stuff. And you don't have to go to basically glass to deal with this. You have to be real careful. The mucosa is very sensitive. And I will say you don't have to kill bugs that way. There's plenty of anti-worm, anti-fungal, antibacterial, although I'm not after killing bacteria. I'm not here to tell you. You don't want to get into that medical thinking. But antifungal would be nice to keep those boys down to a low roar. But again, going back to the adrenals and starch eating and everything else, you can see why. And then people keep asking me about eating fungal foods. you know, mushrooms and things like this, and algae and stuff, and this is all part of the same family that we're dealing with. So, I don't know. I think that's an individual thing. As far as I'm concerned, I don't promote the use of fungal type or algae type, same family type stuff. And I don't really care for the Diatomaceous Earth stuff. It has been reported to be the most effective solution with fighting pests like fleas, ants, and bed bugs. Well, maybe that way. I could probably agree with you that way. Absolutely. Yeah, I could agree with you there. Absolutely. But internally, I'm a little cautious about internal use of stuff like this. I'm going to be careful about that. You have a nice, sensitive body there. And yeah, it gets acidic and hardened and inflamed and dehydrated. But boy, when it's healthy, your body is a beautiful machine. And you don't need to put these sort of very, very inorganic substances into the body. Can be dangerous to the gut. So I just don't think that's an essential need to do that. I think this is simply man grabbing for straws when he doesn't understand true healing. And you guys are understanding true healing. You don't need to go into those bizarre levels. You don't need to get too earthly, because the more earthly you get, the less healing you have. The electricity is low. It's more elemental in its structures. When you get up into the fruits and the berries and the melons and even into the vegetable life, you see a lot more structured chemistry as opposed to simple elementals. And I think that should give you a clue to more of the chemistry that should be ingested to maintain a higher level of awareness, both even at the cellular level too. That's a problem. We've discovered that more elemental, the less bioavailable these constituents are. And so then you see chelation and other factors. I am very natural in my thinking. If we don't go back to the mother, we don't go back to extreme nature, and go and perform like the other animals, we have a hard time getting our health back. And so I think it's that simple. And I think the controversy of the problem comes in the degree where man is right now, a degree of his acidosis, and the degree of his lymph stagnation, the degree of his genetic weaknesses. It's sick. When I'm seeing all these eyes coming in, we're seeing major kidneys, major adrenals, major stomach, GI tract, pancreatic, in almost everybody. I looked at this one lady's eyes Marcy has just now, and she's 31 years old. And my God, her stomach looks like it. I mean, if you had to use the C word, you'd go, oh my God. It looks like she's heading toward gastroparesis and heading toward paralysis within the gut, where consumption of anything wouldn't be available. She doubles over with the consumption of protein, of course, because that invokes hydrochloric acid. And when you invoke an acid in a highly chronic and degenerative area, as you're doing chemotherapy on yourself, but in a minor way. And acid on top of acid is not Wellville. It's Hellville. And you have to learn about health outside of the medical world, because it has nothing to do with health. They use the word, but they only use the word to violate our sovereignty. I came across this, and there are hundreds upon hundreds of positive reviews about some dirt, yeah, I know, for sale, that they say is good for the body, good for our deworming, stronger tails. Thanks, Chris, for that. I just took this position then to make that clear. I'm not for internal use of it, but external use, okay. But not internal. Look at. There's plenty of herbs. Black walnut hull. There's all kinds of herbs that are wormwood. I have no problem deworming and cleaning worms out of people. I have to admit, there's some people that are really, really infested. But I don't know. Remember, man's mucosa is very sensitive. And you're putting it in animals, killing animals, but you're trying to separate human as something much more special than other animals. And that's not really true. You have to separate consciousness and these different states of consciousness, but when you get into chemistry in the body, all animal bodies work very similarly. Of course, when you get into worms and bugs and stuff, there's major differences, of course, but you're still working with cells and everything else. So, what can hurt animals can also hurt humans. We're not above anything like that. So anyway, I'm take that position on that, Chris, because I never want to recommend anything that in the future turns out to hurt people. And this is what I see a great deal of in my lifetime. Things that were assumed to be good are not good. And a good one are all the sulfur compounds and stuff like that, which are still greatly used today. I was in a pharmacy trying to get a Band-Aid for a cut. I was looking at their supplements, and geez, it's unbelievable what's out there on today's market. And none of it can lead you to Wellville. Only you know what leads you to Wellville. And the sad thing is most naturopaths don't even know that. So why go to naturopathic school just for the diploma on your wall? And the sad thing about man is he has to see diplomas on the wall. Isn't that sad? You know? I know one night accused me of having a paper mill degree, and it's like that's insulting. I don't live in that world of paper mill degrees. And my degree isn't from Portugal, by the way. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What I would love is to teach each and every one of you in my classes and on YouTube to cure anything out there, to take the worst case from Hellville to Wellville. What an insult to intelligence, right? And to academics, not intelligence, and academics. That you have to go to school for all these years to learn some kind of what to cure what. It seems like the longer you go to school, the less you know. You ever notice that? You get confused. The mind gets too crammed. Anybody ever crammed for tests and stuff? I have. After a while, if you don't cool off and get away, you're too crammed, you lose. Sometimes when you pull back and separate yourself from the mind and use consciousness, then you can pass your tests easier and better. You know, a lot of people use upper circumbrain nerve before they take tests. Can't say that I blame them. Let me see here. Category manager emailed this lady. She is not a member. Dear Dr. Morse, I'm the mother of a 6-year-old girl diagnosed with... And this is common, guys. This is common. What's coming here is common and sick. I'm a mother of a 6-year-old girl diagnosed with leukemia, acute limphoblastic type B. Do I hear this every day of the world? On May 10th, we finished the first stage of chemotherapy. Her blood type is A2, Rh positive, 17 kilos, 115 centimeters. She is in complete remission. You know what remission means, sweetheart? You're just waiting until you see the blowback. You can't cure any genetic weakness with battery acid. Wake up. But you have no choice as a mother. And, I mean, you can get with Chad's dad and get with these people that have lost a lot of children this way. But I have a book full of this. It's just sad stuff. Remission doesn't exist. It just means that because the acid hit is so restrictive and deadly that the stats go down at first and explode later. So protect your daughter 100% raw. Go after her. If you can catch this to where she doesn't get the blowback, you'll get her. But if you don't, you'll be like Chad's son, who is so genetically weak in these areas. That was a problem in the first place, trying to get the platelets and the counts up enough. And this is all bone marrow. And it's work to regenerate cells, including bone marrow cells. So I cringe when people say, I'm happy, I'm in remission, or my children. It's just the biggest lie the medical professions have ever said. But with that said, with the blessings of all life, I hope your daughter's in one of those. But you can't overcome genetic weaknesses that were created from acidosis with hotter acids. It just is the largest oxymoron that ever was perpetrated, the largest lie ever perpetrated, the largest unconsciousness ever perpetrated. We live in Romania, and the doctor put our daughter Lisa under a 2002 chemo protocol. He does this different than a current protocol, and can we start a detox program before she is finished with chemo? And if not, what do you recommend? I say go Go detox now, baby. Put your daughter on detox. Get on 100% raw. Get up at I would do this. I would get up with mostly fruit, but also if your 6-year-old could tolerate a green drink, a little bit of green chlorophyll to help that blood and stuff. But also grapes, dark fruit, and berries like blueberries. And get your little girl's kidneys and adrenal glands, get those moving so her lymph system can move where you can get into that bone marrow. We have herbs for bone marrow. We have herbs for the spleen. I need to know stats. Are we looking at very low counts or high counts of white blood cells? High counts of white blood cells, piece of cake. Low counts on white blood cells lead you in the same direction, low platelets. Bone marrow or spleen, but these are more serious genetic weaknesses that we have to regenerate. And we're the only ones who can do it because we're the only ones talking about it. The only ones that understand that. So, sweetheart, grab your daughter, get her on this raw, and get her going. And you have a good chance. If there's doctors, at least in this country, you wouldn't stand a chance. We're very bad. We think we give all the power to the medical profession. The courts are unbelievable. Sad stuff. Sad stuff. Kindest regards, and kindest regards to you, my dear. And I'll tell you, let me help you with your daughter all we can, because let me say, you want to have a raw food diet 100%. You want to have fruits and berries pretty much at the top end of the program, and maybe some green drinks. I wouldn't do the salads too much because 6 years old, you want to ease on that digestion. You want to promote elimination, proper elimination through the kidneys of the lymph system. Because in the final analysis, when you look at tissues that are responsible for your symptoms, what brings them down? What makes genetic weaknesses? So whatever, you don't have to get confused in the word genetic, because that doesn't have to be confusing. What makes cells weak? And then when you procreate at the time of your weaknesses, you're procreating at the time of conception. That's what you get. You get the consciousness in that moment of your cell patterns in your body. If they're breaking down from acidosis, which 9999.9% of the time does, this is why you see the downlines are worse and worse and worse. But you regenerate them the opposite way you create them. Does that make sense? You regenerate your genetic weaknesses by reversing how you create them. There's no mystery here. It's all chemistry. It's what you eat. It's what you drink. It's what you breathe. It's what you put on your skin. It's what you think, and it's what you feel. It's all your body's involved. You've got to get a hold of them. You've got to get a hold of your emotions. And you can strengthen your emotions by, 1, becoming stronger in the self, 2, strengthening the adrenal glands, which is the connection to your emotional body. That'll strengthen and get you stronger. You get stronger by consciousness by, 1, strengthening the mind, not in terms of thought patterns, but in terms of acids. The more acidic the brain is, you notice your mind just chatters. But the more raw, the more alkaline, the more peace. The more your mind settles down and allows you to step back from it. And the irritation of the brain of acidosis keeps the irritation of thought. And so you see that, and you can experience that on your own. Meditation is much better under a raw food moon. And even better under a raw fruit moon. So those are the things that you have to do there to get yourselves to Wellville. Let me see. I happened to come across your YouTube video on iridology and was very impressed. Oh, thanks, man. I was wondering if you would be able to read my eyes. I am on the West Coast and won't be in your neighborhood anytime soon. I was wondering how, where, and when I would be able to get some advice about my eyes. Well, if you send them to, oh, it's raining pretty good. If you could send them, send them to Chris and make a note that I would take a quick look at them. The thing is, I charge for iridology reports. When you send them in to me, and I just happened to mention it, and of course they got me for that. But I'm just going to take a glance here. When you send them in like this, if you ask me about yourself, I'm just going to take a glance at your eye here. I don't have the time to sit and analyze everybody's eye, of course, but that's what I want to educate you to. That's why we did those videos, and we'll do more if you like, to train you how to learn iridology. It's in our level 2. And don't make that a difficult thing either. Keep everything simple, and your life and fun will be there for you. But eyes are very simple to read and look at, and as it should be. Because life isn't just for the elitists, it's for everyone. But I do charge for an iridology report. That's a whole workup on your eye. If you want Marcy or Jin B to take a quick look, you have to work through the club on that. I hope I am contacting the right place. I have paid attention to my body and noticed lots of strange things going on. Aha! I'm really hoping he would be able to help me. Let me take a look at that and come in. I'll show you, and I'll read one right now for you. One of you guys sent in some eyes here. I think I got myself in trouble saying that about Chris. I wasn't needing to be anything other than if you ask me a serious question, if I have your eyes, I can take a quick look. Now, these are 2 eyes sent me, and this is Sharon. Let me just show you these. I'll just show you one of them. This is the right eye to give it a look here. See that eye? I don't know how well you can see it. But this is a blue eye that's got a lot of orange in it. So the orange is sulfur, and it's been in there since childbirth because it's in the lymph nodes in some ways. It's worked itself toward the lymph nodes, trying to work itself out. So let me get these eyes just straight here. Okay, yeah, this is the right and the left. Okay, let me see. Well, here's my story. I've been in hell's... Oh, God. No, I didn't mean it negatively, honey. But Hellville most of my life. That's sad. But looking at these eyes, since I was 4 years old, I developed a speech impediment. At 21 years old, I started having severe panic attacks. Ooh. My mother took me to a psychiatrist. Over the years, I have taken, and she lists a bunch of meds, muscle relaxers, and etc. Isn't that sad? When you guys learn what causes things, you're going to look upon this in the future and go, oh my God, how idiotic are these medical people who are using toxic pharmaceuticals instead of learning how the body works and fixing the human body. No. At 26 years old, my body started to contort. Then my neck started turning involuntarily to the left. I'm still suffering with this, and it's very embarrassing. I've been listening to your videos, and I recently realized that my extreme lower back pain is probably due to my adrenal glands. I started eating 80% fruit and a meal of raw vegetables. I also suffer from tremors where my whole body shakes. And by the way, Pat, that's why this is repeat, 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 honey. It's for suffering souls like this. I am 58 years now. I need relief. No kidding. I am on adrenal glandular, kidney glandular, and herbs that support these glands. I got my iris read back in January, but was not told nearly half of the things I've learned from you. Only thing I want to know is, what are the true color of my eyes? Thank you for the love you show for... Oh, you got me. Thanks, honey. Well, all right, just for that, just take a look at this. All right, right side. Forgive me, honey, I'm going to go into this. Right side, big time chronic kidneys, major kidney weakness, and major chronic adrenals, major. Also bladder, big time bladder, a little bit, filtering a little bit in the uterus, but bladder and kidneys, big time. Lower back, you have major lesion in the lower back, even part of the T-spine's involved. Even a little minutes of the upper spine, heavy lymph up here in the neck area, throat, thyroid, parathyroid, chronic, throat chronic. You're going to have some sore throats, tonsils chronic. You've got animation lifeline, and you got cholesterol plaquing up in the brain there because you've just been acidic for too long. You've got to get this up. To protect one from this, upper circuit, brain, and nerve too. Upper circuit, always when you see cholesterol rings and stuff like this, that's that white translucent ring above on the head area. As I get up into the right shoulder and right ear, big time weakness genetically. I get to the bronchial trunks, that as well, the right arm as well here, maybe some infiltration to the gallbladder, pancreatic and right ovary big time, groin and appendix, leg, right leg real weak. So this is a person with multiple cellular weaknesses. The eye is blue, all the heavy, thick white you see in your eyes, thick lymph, and that's toward your hip on the right side, a lot of inflammation in the hip area there. So, you know, I'm getting into it now. Skin not filtering well. That comes to the thyroid here, left side of the body. Bronchial trunk, big time. I don't know if this is heart or just bronchial trunk, but chest wall, left chest wall, and that encompasses the left breast here. So be real careful here, sweetheart. Spleen, big time spleen. Check your blood work up for whites and platelets. Have a big effect on reds as well. Here we've got another groin, maybe another little bit of hip going on here. Chronic groin, leg again, picked up here. Chronic kidneys, a lot of inflammation in the left kidney. A little rectal, upper rectal flexure, rectum. Your GI tract is a mess, honey, no offense, but this is common stuff. A little prolapsing of the sigmoid flexure. Here we're getting into either the bladder. I don't think that's vaginal wall. It could be bladder. Then we're picking up the lower back to mid back again. So your back, throat, neck area, thyroid inundated, more cholesterol plaquing. So you've got some 100% raw, sweetheart, 100% raw, and I would keep the greens to a minimum. Get your kidneys. You really got some work to do here, honey. Just relax. And let your body heal itself here. Get yourself relaxed. You know your body will uncontort. Your body will fix itself up. You got to get into the parathyroid. You really need to have a practitioner work with you. You really need some help with that because someone that knows the body, like Marcy or Jen, or I'll help you. I just have to see where my schedule is. But you've got your eyes look a lot like mine. You know, genetic weaknesses all over the friggin' place. I don't know who read your eyes before and what they told you, but you've got some things to deal with here. And that cholesterol plaquing, that's essential to deal with that. And it just shows extreme acidosis. And it also reflects what tissue is down, and you nailed it right on the head. The adrenals, absolutely, absolutely. When your adrenal steroids are down, what is your body going to turn to? Some type of alkalizing power, some type of anti-inflammatory power. Because anti-inflammatory means antacid, so that means the base side of chemistry. So which steroids are anti-inflammatory? Which steroids does your body use? Well, we know already, cortisol, progesterone, some of those things. So there is truth that comes with me looking at your eyes, guys. So don't get upset with what I find, because that's what we have to deal with. But let me say this about that. You can rewind these things. You can regenerate your body. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It might take you some time. So what? It's better than continuing to contort and to tremor. Not good. Antispasmodic, use that one. I would use that one along with brain and nerve number 2. I would also use upper circulation and maybe even lower circulation. Use them both. This is going to be a little costly in the sense that it's going to be more than a normal case because you got some problems that you need to work out here, some challenges, let's say. So we need to think about dealing with keeping you from stroking and things. That's essential. I mean, I don't want to scare anybody out there, but this is reality. And you are stroke walking. And when you see us upstairs, the possibility of coronaries also. So, because generally this is a systemic issue. Lymphatic system, anytime you're dealing in your fluid systems, which is the 2, blood and lymph, you're dealing in systemic or whole body problems. So you want to protect yourself from that. So circulatory herbs are good to help you with that, and antispasmodic will help with the tremors, but you see what's happening. Your body's so acidic and full of weaknesses that your body's going down. And you want to bring your body up to Wellville, and I can see why you're suffering all these years. And if some iridologist didn't give you at least that reading, that's what's the problem with iridology out there. Iridologists, they're not taught properly. They don't expand their awareness. I don't know what to say about that either. All I know is I'll teach you all I know. Teach you all I know. Guys, this suffering is gigantic out there. And Sharon, sweetheart, you've suffered enough. For sure. Unwind your karma and get out of this. Whew. All right, what's our time here? Let me just read a couple more. And then I have a lot of time now. Everything is just kind of settled down. I'm back from the mountains. And I can spend a lot of time in here with you. And I plan to if the Pats out there don't get too mad at me. I plan to talk to you about your cases, because that's what I'm into cases. And I'm a practitioner. And so I'm into cases. And that's what this is about, to help you guys out there. I don't know what the Pats out there are thinking, that I'm not a Dan McDonald that way. You know, I don't sit here and show you how to juice. There's plenty of people that know how to do that. These things are easy. And juicing is, for me, one way or another, I don't care. I'm into true healing and regeneration of tissue, and I don't know what to say about it. Let me see. Ask a YouTube question. Hello. I lost my spleen because of a car accident. That's common out there. When I was 13. Oh, that's sad. Now I'm 26. 13 years later. I would just like to know, what are the side effects of living without this major organ in your body? My doctor said it is no big deal. No big deal. And I will only affect my immune system. Well, if you consider leukemia as an immune system problem, do you know what I'm saying? Well, the spleen is how the blood cleans itself into the lymph system. It's how it refurbishes its red blood cells. It's also the distributor of platelets and white blood cells. So it is direct communication with the bone marrow. So it is a big deal. So I'd say this. I'd say watch your blood work for platelets and white blood cells. Also keep a look at the reds. Get your kidneys filtering and cleaned up, and the kidneys can play a vital role in cleaning the blood. Keep your liver healthy as well, because other tissues might take up some response from that. And keep yourself on a fairly good raw food diet. If you have to have some cooked, at least make it vegetables. And keep your ingestion healthy, your body clean and pure, and you'll do well. You'll do well. But you must get your lymph filtering, because in a way, they classify the spleen as a blood and lymphatic organ. So you see the essentialness of keeping the lymph system intact and healthy, and that's your immune system. So that's the problem. It can run you into leukemias and things like this. A couple of years ago, started my skin problems, eczema, memory and concentration problems, low energy and severe mood swings. Well, let's go back. I don't know if that's from the spleen, my friend, but I'll tell you what. You know, that was a traumatic accident back then. It could have just really shut down your adrenals, because this is all lymphatic problems. Your skin, eczema is all lymphatic, and memory and concentration's lymphatic problems. Even if you said, well, it's a lack of proper blood flow to tissue, you could go back. What causes the impediment of blood to tissue? Going back to the lymph system again, the swelling of the vascular walls. Again, back to acidosis and swelling and what acids do to tissues, whether it's vascular walls or whether it's spleen or liver tissue. I get upper circumbrachioid nerve. I start getting my kidneys to filter. You want to do that and get to protect that spleen area. And maybe, I don't know, it's kind of late, but maybe a spleen might hatch out there. You never know. I find that bizarre, but remember I told you, I've only seen one case where I had a thyroid hatch back, but I've heard livers go back. I've heard all kinds of neat stories. I do have a spinal bifida case where there was no L4 and 5 at birth, and now she has L4 and 5. So complete loss of L4 and 5 vertebrae grew where there was none. What's that? Explain that to me. You only understand that when you understand the genetic patterns are not in the human physical body. That's why in classes we teach how creation is created and the interplay of your other bodies with the physical body, and helping you to understand how there is memory in cells in the physical side and how that dictates the morphology and functionability of a cell physically. But the direction is not physical. So it's just expanding your awareness and understanding that there are a lot of levels to us that are not seen physically. And you just have to understand that. You see more of that when you learn how to out-of-body travel. You have a strict realization that life is greater non-physical than it is physical. This is the smallest part of God. Thank God. Could these issues be related to my splenectomy? Whoa. I don't think so, to tell you the truth, since that was a trauma. If you'd have had a spleen removed from atrophy or decay, we could then deduct that, but not from a car accident. Can I be fully healthy being without a spleen? I think so. With taking these things in regard, I do believe you can. But again, you want to make sure, since you realize what the spleen does, that the kidneys play a minor role in that too. We want to get those kidneys filtering, both for lymphatic reasons, obviously, number one, but also for blood reasons. I would also shore up that liver and GI tract and then just clean everything up. But you have some deeper problems that you're listing down here that are more concernful. And if you're balding and stuff, you're headed toward dementia and Alzheimer's no matter what age you are. So you want to get into those tissues. Well, that's getting lymph moving out of here, acidosis moving out, blood flow better, and you can use herbs to accomplish that, to help you. Upper circuit brain and nerve to enhance memory and brain function. Upper circulation moves blood more aggressively in the brain, oxygenated blood. So all these are just good things to help you to regenerate. These were photos, Chris says, were not labeled by the sender. So I can tell you this is the left eye, and this is the right eye. This is a female, I can tell by the beautiful eyelashes with black on them. Submitted eyes. Requested by Dr. Morse. Oh, yes, I remember you. Yes, sweetheart. Dr. Morse, can you please go over me and my girlfriend's eyes? Oh. That you requested to look at. The first two photographs are my girlfriend's eyes. She suffers from chronic headaches that vary in which area of her head, usually all over, but it gets so bad she is sensitive to light, noise, and touch. Well, now listen, this is going to go back to the cerebellum as well. This sounds more like a lymphacidosis headache. Chronic stomach headaches come from here, like MSG headaches and things like this, from here. Oh, you'll love this one. Up in the mountains, I was with my two sons. My older son is 47, my younger son is 37. And they wanted to go to Paul Dean's. So, okay, we went to Paul Dean's. And of course, I'm only a vegetable and salad man, but I had some cream corn, mashed potatoes. I did. And come to find out, Paula Deen uses MSG in everything. The manager said, I wouldn't trust anything here. Holy crap. And I was deathly sick from it. And it gave me extreme headache, but it was stomach. It's like MSG stops digestion. Oh my God. It just, you can't, sad stuff. Well, sweetheart, all right. The thing is, I would sure like a lot more light in your eyes. These are way too dark for me to help you really well here. You had to, and I just saw the video that Marcy and Jen B put out for you. They did a superb job on showing you how to light up the eye. You got to do that because this is not light enough, sweetheart, for me to see. I don't know, these individual eyes are yours. I take it this to be the right eye because the bigger part of the bow looks to be on the left side here. So what I see is chronic adrenals. It looks like you have pretty good genes here. You got nerve rings going on. I think the bowel, the GI tract is a big issue, and your pupil's quite large for a picture of this kind. So it tells me that you have either cerebellum or neurological. If I can see up here in the cerebellum, you have a chronicness to that area of the head. I'll have to put it this way, honey. I got to have more light here to see. You look like you have chronic bowels. On the left side here, I see pituitary, pineal, which means rest and spirituality. I see all across this transverse bowel problems. Back here in the left cerebellum, big time chronic. So that would impact the optic nerves and make you, well, that's be your friend. I don't know if this is your eye or a friend's eye now. Getting to this eye, I see upper femur weakness, adrenals, maybe a little groin to that side. Also, I believe I'm looking at here, I think this is rectal wall. Skin, not sweating, but it's hard to tell. But if I look at your nerve rings, thick lymph problems, thick. I don't see a lot of genetics here, maybe pancreatic a little bit. Maybe gallbladder. I need better pictures, no offense. Try to get me better pictures. Girlfriend here, and label which is right and left, because it's hard to tell. They're all mixed up. Like one eye is this way, and one eye is this way, sweetheart. Your friend, if this is the double one for your friend, this would be the left eye. She would also have chronic upper femur, chronic kidney and adrenals, groin, left ovarian weakness, rectal, maybe even influence in the vaginal wall and uterus. Thick bowel ring tells me malabsorption big time in her. A little bit about the same with you. I mean, she's a little spark here. Could be a bowel pocket, but it looks like a spark to the cerebellum left side. Got some nerve rings, bronchial trunk going on. More skin issues with this young lady. Right side, really hard to see that. I just need better pictures, sweetie, okay? Just get me better pictures and send them in again. She'll make note that I wanted them, but get me better pictures. And I'm going to hold these off to this. Well, let me put these in here. And I'll make note to Chris that I need better pictures. Better pics. All right? No offense, honey. I keep running you around, but I can't see. Now, I can see better with this picture. And I can see better with this picture. You know, you guys are taking as good as pictures as most iris cameras. Doing good. Really good. Oh, let's look at this one. Ah, beautiful woman. Look at that. Look at that. What is that orange all around the outer band of the GI tract? This is the GI tract, this band around the pupil. Thick sulfur, honey. Thick sulfur. Gassy, bloaty stuff. Gassy, bloaty stuff, fungal stuff. Not fun stuff. It's all in your stomach. You have a thick malabsorption ring, and you also have a thick bowel wall. So this could lead you into everything from Crohn's to not just colitis, enteritis, gastritis. I mean, you just got a lot of that going on. It could lead into paralysis of the stomach, gastroparesis. Now, you notice how your fibers are a little loose net? I'd just strengthen up the parathyroid a little bit. Got a little throat going on. A little, let me see which eye this is. I haven't read your thing yet. Left and right. Okay, I thought this was right. Yeah, kidneys. You got a little bit of a kidney issue going here on the right side. A lot of inflammation, and you're headed for some deterioration in that right kidney. Some chronic stuff. Below the knee, little groin, hip, right hip, pancreatic, and right ovary as well. Also a lot of lymph in the gallbladder. Hi, sweetheart. I'm having fun going over eyes and stuff.
Awesome, awesome. I don't know where I'm at, if you're just seeing here to here or where, but I want to say, have a good weekend. I'm taking off.
Ah, you too.
I want to tell everybody here to have a good weekend.
Yeah.
I have had many people telling me that they are going to get a lot of studying done, a lot of work done.
Excellent.
No.
Oh, no, excellent. No study, no work. Okay, no.
I'm going to write you a prescription.
Oh, my God, you can't do that. You got to be a medical doctor to do that.
Go get some rest.
And have fun.
And have a fun, adventurous weekend. That's going to be the best thing that
What about me? I got to work.
No.
No.
You need to take some... Oh, my lambs.
I know, look at that. Well, I was just talking to her about her eyes and all the software. Look how thick the bow wall is, the malabsorption ring, kaput. And then you see the skin building up subcutaneously, but look up here, cerebellum, you're seeing all these problems here. I'm just now going over with her a little bit. Beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
And I'm sure what would be described as gorgeous eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But the more gorgeous your eyes, the tends to be the more the issues.
Yeah, it does. And you see the lymph system there. Well,
you know, on this one, I'd be going GI broom, GI broom, GI broom, GI broom.
Yep, absolutely, me too. Ooh, get a little thunder there.
A little bit. Anyway, I just wanted to say have a great weekend. You too. I know you got a lot of work to do, but rest.
Thanks, honey.
Relax.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. Now, so, all right, this is the right eye, going back over that one. Yeah, I see a little pancreatic there, right ovarian, a little liver. I could enhance my liver. You get a little, I'm looking and seeing a little bone skeletal on this right chest wall here, honey, so be real careful with this right breast, weakening there, and the right chest wall there. Also, this upper lobe up here in the right lung, you might be careful with that. Clean that out a little bit. I get into a lot of little nitty-picky stuff, but let's don't go there. Thyroid, absolutely. Tonsil, absolutely. Upper neck, mid-back in particular, some lower back here. Vaginal wall, a lot of inflammation. Watch for the popping atypical cells here. There is some weaknesses and a heavy limb, so that could yield you atypical cells. Use the Hilde tea, douche for a couple of weeks, get your kidney. You got a kidney there that's in trouble here, sweetheart, and you got to get this sulfur out of you. You see all that right there. Now, when we look at the left eye of this lady, we see a little bit better kidney, still a weakness genetically, and here's the adrenals a little more on this side. We see a knee, and at the knee going a little femur and below. We see a groin on this side, a little spleen on this side. As we work around, there's a little rectal wall weakness, again, a little more vaginal wall issue going on, heavy lymph in the uterine wall, so be careful about endometriosis with this. That all is a setup for you here. I think we do pick up a little bladder, maybe a lot of inflammation in that, a lot of lower back and coccyx tailbone here. Here we pick up a lot more back issues on the left side. Also into the throat area again, a little thyroid again, that sort of thing. Yeah, tidal sulfur problems, osteoporosis, absolutely. So you know what? I think instead of reading this, I think it's the best solution is just to go over that, sweetheart. Just go over your eyes and tell you that. GI broom. But you really need to get those kidneys worked on. Stay away from proteins for a while because that's not going to do you any good whatsoever. Get that lymph moving. You got pretty blue eyes, but you got a lot of thick and white and yellowing going on in there. That thick look of white and yellow. You see how this thicker look of the white and yellow here? That's lymph building up. Well, when lymph builds up, that's acids building up, that's inflammation building up, and then that's outside of the cell for a while. So, yeah, you got some work to get done. But you've got a good body here. You can pull yourself in and get this body straightened around. But you got some work to do a little bit here. So I hope that's helpful for you, sweetheart. And this is Helen. And complete cell. I am happy, though. I don't want to read that. I mean, don't be mad. I just so I can get on. I got so many eyes to go over. But I hope that's helpful for you, Helen. But the beauty, no matter what condition we find ourselves in, you can get to Wellville. Don't ever, even though some of this sounds real strong, I remember when Jensen used to say, well, I only tell them 4 things. I don't want to upset them. And that was the famous Dr. Jensen, you know. And I said, well, Doc, you know, I'm pretty one of those guys that lay it right on out. I don't know. I've had a hard time not being truthful. I lay it right out because you got to know what's going on in the body. And if you understand that, it's totally regenerable. You can regenerate the human body. You don't have to live in Hellville for years and years, but if you listen, if you follow the medical consciousness, you're going to live in Hellville because they don't understand Wellville. They're only there to treat symptomology. They've named diseases with their toxic pharmaceuticals. And they go to school a long time to do it. I don't know. Seems a waste of time to me. All right. Alexandra. Hi, sweetheart. I came across your YouTube video just over a week ago and was so inspired about all the information and insight you give. Oh, thanks, honey. Since that time, I have been eating only raw fruit and vegetables, as I know my system was seriously overloaded. I took some pics of my eyes, and I was wondering if you... Absolutely, I'll go real quick. Anyway, I'm so glad. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, okay. Now, these aren't labeled, but they're easy to tell. This is the right eye. Now, let me show you her right eye. Obvious blue, where these are obviously brown. Now, this has got a whole story to it. This is page after page after page, so I'll have to set that aside till next time. So let's start with your right side there, dear one. All right, you got a lot of sinus congestion going on up in there. You definitely have a thick malabsorption ring because this lymph is also infiltrated the bowel wall. I mean, got stagnant in that wall. Let me see here. If I get to the thyroid and parathyroid, both are genetically involved here with a little throat weakness to boot. The tonsil area looks like it's in a chronic state. The bronchial trunks, especially the lower bronchial trunks to the lower lobes, are definitely involved here with you. Your left chest and I'm on the right side, excuse me. Your right breast area and chest wall, be very, very careful here. You're very weak in the right breast area. Fibromyalgia or fibrocystic breast would be the least you could hope. You get serious weakness here. With that said, the liver needs to regenerate a little bit here. The pancreas needs to regenerate a little bit here. You have a little hip going on there, groin, upper femur, but the kidney and adrenals need attention, need your attention here. On the left side of the body, more of the same. Got an upper femur, not very happy, going into that hip. On the left side, the kidneys are down, the adrenals are down on that side. Up at the rectal flexure, you've got a pretty good weakness in that rectal flexure. You want to work on that GI tract. And I could also be into the uterine area. I'm not mapping these out because it just takes too much time. So you want to be careful with that. It looks like you've got some cataracts maybe coming. It could be the light, but I don't see any cholesterol plaquing, but I'm telling you, look like you're getting that hazy look of cataracts, so you want to be careful. That would be cholesterol, meaning that your adrenals, and I'm looking at a chronic adrenal here. A lot of inflammation mid-back, some weaknesses lower back and upper neck, throat. Here's more confirmation of thyroid and parathyroid, more confirmation sinus, left ear, left bronchial trunk. You're getting congestion built up in the lower lobe. You only have 2 lobes on this left side, 3 on the right. So this lower lobe on the left is building up here a little bit. A little weakness probably in the heart area. There is congestion building up in the heart area. Want to move that lymph out of there because that'll lead to coronary artery one way or the other. Plaquing in the wall, thickening of the wall, calcifications of the wall, or collapsing of the wall. So you just want to go after this. Same type of thing on this left chest area. And I don't know, I'm spleen, a lot of inflammation, but I'm either looking at lower chest wall here or spleen. So it sounds like a lot in some of you guys, but just go into the body. Get the kidneys and adrenals, as we've been talking about. Get them filtering, go in and start working on your lymph systems and your GI tracts. And all this will heal itself. Isn't that cool? That's so cool. But that's what you can expect is good healing here. Good healing here. And it'll take place applying the laws of proper detoxification. It'll regenerate you all in that way. So good stuff. Good stuff. So we're at 2.5, almost 3 hours. I should cut off here and then start a lower video. But see, this is the weekend. And I don't know, Chris might be able to get this up. If he gets this up, it'll all be up. He won't have time to individualize it and everything else. So I can't promise anything that when you're going to get this, because this is Friday. I just got back yesterday. And so I don't know how fast we can get this up. Okay, this is a good question. This is from Lyle. Hi, could you please tell me how to get rid of Radii Solaris or other toxic lines in the iris? I've been eating raw vegetables, but I don't know if that's enough. Cheers. Wow. Oh, that's a good question. Radii Solaris. See if I can find something real quick to show you what they are, guys. I don't know if I can get it quick enough for you, but these are dark, generally black lines that radiate out from the pupil, particularly up in the head area. But these are deep genetic weaknesses, and they generally start in the GI tract. So, what would your thought be? You'd want to go after that GI tract, wouldn't you? So again, you would apply the laws of Wellville. You would get into the kidneys, make sure they're filtering, because in the final analysis, how did those lines start developing in your genetic line? What developed weaknesses within these tissues to slowly through the ages develop these deeper, longer tunnels? Because we see them as they start out small, and then each downline gets longer, 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 deeper, deeper, that sort of thing. So it shows that we're not promoting wellness in our offspring and in ourselves. We're promoting the opposite. We're promoting decay. So our lifestyles, what we're eating, what we're drinking, what we're breathing, what we're putting on our skin, how we're interacting, we're promoting decay instead of promoting wellness. Well, now that you guys understand the living foods and the vitalness of proper chemistry put together by God and nature, not put together by man, synergistically bound, electrified by magnetism, that's the chemistry you're looking for to enhance the performance of cells and to bring a homeostasis, if there's such a word, to the human body, meaning a base balance interstitially. These are all vital things to keep this total movement of nutrition and the elimination of cellular waste in cycles, moving, proper ionization, oxidation, all these cycles tied into this. Essential to do this, essential to eat in that way. So we've been promoting a decaying lifestyle, and then we use toxic pharmaceuticals that are mostly acids to treat the side effects of our decay. And then when it really is decayed, we step that up and we go to battery acid, or, what do we call them, Drano? Is this not insanity at its greatest? I've never been in a world this insane. And I'm a traveler. Oh, I think I'd get a little deeper. I'd get a lot deeper. I would head for detoxification. Don't worry about the Radii Solaris. Get into kidney filtration, get the adrenals up, get that GI tract regenerating, and those Radii Solaris will get narrower and thinner and start disappearing, and suddenly you'll go, well, wait, I had a line there. It's not there anymore. Seen a lot of them go away. And so real important that you're going in and regenerating tissue. How do you do that? You reverse how you degenerate. That's simple. You don't need to go to 10 years med school to figure that one out. I'm just saying. If it wasn't such a killing machine, I wouldn't be so down on it. But it's a killing machine now. And the kids just send me out to Never Never Land. So with that, I want to leave you with a lot of love, and I hope a lot of hope that you don't have to live in Hellville, guys. Get yourselves out. To me, there's one golden road. We don't have to pick up all this crap on the side. Fruits, berries, and melons, and good green drinks will take you down to the greatest Wellville you can get. Use the herbs to help regenerate tissue better. These are non-hybrids. They're non-hybrid little beings that are here for you, and are here for themselves, of course, but they're here for you to give their love to you. Don't listen to the crap that's out there of people that want you to stay in Hellville, because you're a good money machine when you live in Hellville. You're not so much a money machine when you're healthy, are you? Just saying, things are this bad. But I love each and every one of you, and thanks so much for watching these videos. They'll help you, and I hope they never get too boring for you, but there's so many cases out here, and I'm about the cases, and this site is about cases, because I want to educate you till no one can lead you wrong anymore. So with great love, blessings, have a fun weekend if you get this before the weekend. If not, I hope you had a good weekend. Bye-bye now.